Hey folks, Brittany Tarwater here. Some not so good news coming out of University of Tennessee's athletics department. Coach Rick Barnes and several other members of the men's basketball team have tested positive for COVID-19. Of course, a lot of enthusiasm and excitement as we are about to head into basketball season. The Vols set to tip off on Wednesday. However, there is some big news coming out of the athletics department. Coach Rick Barnes, several other staffers, and possibly even some team members have tested positive for COVID-19. So we could see some potential changes as we head into the start of basketball season, specifically to the tournament that was supposed to start this week. So I'll read you a little bit about what's going on here as we're just now finding out this news. Of course, this comes after Coach Phil Fulmer testing positive for COVID-19 last week. And then remember, Chancellor Donde Plowman also in isolation after coming into close contact. She has not had a positive test, but is in isolation right now. So several big names on campus are testing positive for COVID-19. Here's the article, and we can read some of this together. This, by the way, on WVLT.tv, where you can read along and get the most up-to-date information. Tennessee basketball just tweeting out the announcement not too long ago. It says the Tennessee men's basketball program has paused all team activities following multiple COVID-19 test results among its Tier 1 personnel. I'll explain more of that, but that does consist of coaches, student athletes, team managers, and support staff. That's what the Tier 1 personnel means. The positive test results were detected during routine COVID-19 surveillance testing, which is conducted 3 times a week in accordance with NCAA and SEC guidelines. The tests that returned as positive were conducted on Sunday. The program is getting retested today to see whether or not those tests do confirm or conflict. Head coach Rick Barnes is one of the individuals who returned a positive test and has entered isolation protocol. Basketball program is following SEC and university public health guides to prioritize health and safety of all student athletes and staff, as well as the campus and the local community. Volunteer Classic set to tip off on Wednesday, where the Vols were supposed to start the season, and it could happen still. We will get more information about the Volunteer Classic games tomorrow. That's what the program is telling us. More on the Tier 1 staffers, what that means, coaches, student athletes, team managers, support staff, and why this is important, because SEC protocol for positive tests require 10 days of isolation. And then you'll remember all the talk about the cardiac testing and what happens after a player specifically is tested positive for COVID-19. Now, we don't know if there are any players right now. All we know is that Rick Barnes is included in the Tier 1 team who's been tested as positive. But it does mean if there are players that they cannot be released and cleared to play until the cardiac testing comes back in a safe manner for players to take part. So right now, Coach Barnes is in isolation. This test result came back yesterday, and they're being retested today as a team. Right now, they're in season, and they get tested every couple of days. So this was routine. We don't know if he has any symptoms right now, how he's feeling. All we know is that that result came back positive. Vols right now ranked number 12 in the country, so there's a lot of excitement and anticipation about the Tennessee basketball program this season and getting ready to kick off this week. Now, if we go back and look at what this could mean for the basketball schedule, and again, we don't know. Right now, the schedule is set to go on as planned. But that means Wednesday's game, that's against Charlotte. Friday, VCU, and then a big one coming up on December 2nd, Tennessee set to play Gonzaga. So a lot of important games on the schedule for the Tennessee men's basketball program. And there is a possibility that Coach Barnes is not on the sideline right now because he'll be in isolation until he is cleared to get back around his teammates and around the staff right now. So there could be some big implications that go into this. Some other big news coming out on campus right now. Lady Vols also set to tip off and begin the Lady Vol season on Friday. That game scheduled to be against Florida A&M. However, that program has opted out of the season. So the Florida A&M women's basketball team has opted out of this season. So Lady Vols would not have an opponent for its season opener. So some big changes coming out on campus. If you're just joining us now, some big news coming out specific to the men's and women's basketball programs. Coach Rick Barnes is among the positive test results. So Coach Barnes has come back with a positive test for COVID-19. Including some other Tier 1 staffers. And Tier 1, by the way, means coaches, student athletes, team managers, and support staff. So Tier 1 being that very inner circle for the program. There are multiple tests right now surrounding the men's basketball program that have come back positive. They got tested yesterday, got those results back. The people who have tested positive, of course, are in isolation and following our local health department guidelines and the university guidelines, SEC guidelines, NCAA guidelines. All of this, of course, designed to keep players and staff members safe. We're not sure who the other positive tests are right now, but we do know that Coach Barnes is included in those who have come back with a positive test and has begun isolation, and they will be retested. Right now, standard protocol includes getting tested every 3 days. So the team went in for a standard testing, and some of these tests did come back positive. Of course, this comes on the heels of Coach Fulmer coming back with a positive test on Friday. And then, of course, Chancellor Plowman also saying that she has been in close contact with someone who's tested positive. She herself has not had a positive result come back, but she is in isolation. So right now, 3 big names on campus are either in isolation because of close contact or themselves have come back with positive test results. I'll show you where you can see more of this information right now on the WVLT.tv website. This is the story coming back on the men's side. Coach Barnes coming back with that positive test. All basketball activities are suspended, and this comes at a really unfortunate time for the Tennessee basketball program heading into the season opener, the Volunteer Classic that was set to get started this week. The Vols were supposed to play Charlotte on Wednesday and then play VCU on Friday. Tennessee hosting the Volunteer Classic. So not sure what that means as far as if the team will play. We are expected to learn more about that tomorrow, if in fact it is safe for Tennessee to be the host, and if it is safe for Tennessee to move forward with the games as scheduled. We don't know that right now. We do expect to learn more about that coming tomorrow. The players, the staff, including Coach Barnes, everyone is being retested today. Not sure what that means for this week. And then also, if you're just joining us, some news on the women's side, too. The Lady Vols were expected to get started on Friday, expected to play Florida A&M. Florida A&M's women's basketball team, however, has opted out of the entire season. So the Lady Vols do not have a season opener, as we were very much looking forward to the men's and women's basketball season to get started. Not sure if that's going to happen as scheduled right now. We will be following this and hoping to learn more about if the Volunteer Classic will still happen this week and if the Vols and the Lady Vols will move forward as scheduled. This information just coming out, within minutes and hours of the news being released. So again, I'll just take you back to this article and I'll give you a little bit more about what the team program has, what the program has tweeted out right now. Tennessee men's basketball program has paused all team activities following multiple positive COVID-19 tests among its Tier 1 personnel. That just means the coaches, the student athletes, the team managers, and the support staff. So right now, we don't know how many positive tests the program has come back with. We don't know if it means it's just Coach Barnes, if it could be more assistant coaches, it could be players on the team right now, support staff. So sort of that inner circle right now is what we're looking at as far as those Tier 1 members. Not sure how many positive tests have come back. We just know that Coach Barnes right now has come back with that positive test result, and we'll wait to see if the second test comes back to support that information. But right now, Coach Barnes is in isolation, and as per SEC protocol, will be in isolation for at least 10 days, which significantly impacts the program and its upcoming schedule, because the Vols were set to play Charlotte on Friday, Charlotte on Wednesday, VCU on Friday, and then a big one that the program's been looking forward to on December 2nd, which is just next week, against Gonzaga. So no word yet if the season will start as planned. What's going to happen with the Volunteer Classic that Tennessee is supposed to be hosting this week and possibly still will, and who's going to be courtside. So some big questions that we will, of course, continue to keep up with. You can follow us on the WVLT News app, where we'll send you the latest information straight to your phone. Also keep up with us on WVLT.tv and on the air today and for the rest of this week as we continue to follow this story. But once again, Coach Rick Barnes testing positive for COVID-19, and multiple Tier 1 staffers on the men's basketball team. And on the women's side, the Lady Vols season opener's opponent has opted out for the season. So some big changes coming out of UT's athletics department, and we will keep you posted around the clock. Thanks for joining us, folks.